Well, that's a very blunt question.
Hi, David, I have a call for you. I'm just putting it through. All right, mate. Dave here. Listen, I know you've only come in to clean up the place, but I've got a bit caught up, so you're going to have to run the news tonight. Now, don't worry, it's not hard, and I'm going to stay on the phone and help you. First, I'm going to give you a quick tour of the broadcast room, so if you're not doing it already, look forwards towards all those screens. Right, look up at the top. That coloured bar is your audience. You want to keep the viewers going up and not down. Underneath that, you've got the screens. The one on the right is the broadcast screen. That's what the viewers are seeing at home. It's only a couple of seconds behind the master screen there in the middle. That's the one you control. Now, the four small screens on the left show the different signals coming from the studio, and you can choose between them using the numbered buttons on the vision mixer at the bottom left. Don't worry, I'll talk you through it and you'll pick it up in no time. Now, have a look to your left. These plugs control everything in the studio. I've left them set up for you, so provided you haven't fiddled with them, all you have to do now is throw the master trip switch and we're in business. Once you've got the power on, face the front again. You can see on the broadcast screen that we're in the end titles for the show before us. Fortunately, they go on for fucking ages, so there's plenty of time for me to explain. Oh, right, okay, they're over, so we haven't got long now till the broadcast. Right, quickly, mate, look down under the desk.
Coming up later on tonight on Channel 1.
You can see a load of videotapes on the left. They're your adverts. Pick any three and load them into the machines on the right. When you've done that, look up to the front again.
That's followed at 8 p.m. by award-winning documentary series The Shape of Man.
Right, won't be long now till the signal starts coming through from the station. Stay on your toes. All the bigwigs are in tonight because of the election, so we better not make any mistakes.
At 9 p.m, sit back and relax with multiple award-winning movie The Freedom.
When you get the signal, select screen 1 with the vision mixer and we're ready to go.
Prawn and mayonnaise?
You know, CV makes me kind of impossible.
Yeah, I thought it might increase our viewing figures.
Every day. You offer me prawns every day.
10 seconds, everybody.
Finally,
That's how I
at
show
midnight,
love.
You're trying
it's
to
the
kill me.
National Weather
And yet
Report
you persist.
before
Going
we
in
begin
5,
until
4.
But now, it's time to join Jeremy Donaldson for the
Good
National
evening.
Night
I'm
News.
Jeremy Donaldson. Our main stories tonight.
Okay, we're all good. Next is going to be to throw to the news titles on screen 2. There'll be a countdown, but I'll count you in as well. Just relax, mate. It's all gravy.
Buys Honest Andy's Totally Independent and corners the flowered market. Top chat. Sports fans everywhere celebrate as popular footballer Johnny Hamsleys wins Sports Personality of the Year. And a spoonful of sugar. Meghan will be chatting with movie star Lawrence Blunderclatch about his new movie, The Medicated. And, of course, we'll be going live to Advance headquarters to hear what the leaders of this fledgling party have to say on their historic...
Right, button 2 in 3, 2, 1, now. Lovely, mate. Next thing is to throw back to Jeremy with button 1 when that globe in the middle shrinks down and vanishes. Here it comes. Switch to screen 1. Now. Lovely, mate.
But first, the votes are in and it's a decisive win for Advance. The landslide victory, with an astonishing 81% of the popular vote, is the biggest election win in living memory. Advance appealed to voters up and down the country with their bold promises of permanent change. But critics have accused him of a severe lack of actual policies and of being deliberately vague. The opposition parties have all conceded defeat to Advance's overwhelming mandate, but have yet to appear publicly. However, Former Home Secretary.
Great, it's going well. All you've got to do now is play the advert at the end of the segment. Make sure you don't play it too early or we'll all get fired. Now the clock at the top is counting you down to the advert. When it reaches 0, press one of the 3 play ad buttons over there at the bottom right. I normally play the first one at the first break and so on, but you can play them in any order you want. I'll count you into it as well, but keep your eye on the clock.
To hear the co-leader's acceptance speech.
And 3, 2, 1, advert.
1 minute back.
Play the fucking ad, mate.
I need you to fill out
What? Why?
Wanker Snatch is running late.
Oh,
I thought I'd ask him about the election.
personally, I wouldn't try to confuse him with any big words.
That's the same policy we used with. I thought that was our little secret. Doesn't remember anything like
I'm deeply uncomfortable with your burgeoning friendship. Really.
In a grey, a brown, a pink, a yellow, a purple. Niels are unreal.
Wicked, we've made it to the first ad break. You're doing great, mate. But this is where it starts getting a bit trickier. This next sequence is what we call a multicam sequence, because you're going to be cutting between multiple cameras to keep things interesting. A lot of it's down to personal taste, but here's 3 good rules of thumb. 1. Try and keep the shot on whoever is doing the talking. 2. Don't stay on the same shot for too long, 10 seconds at the most. So if you're on the person who's talking, try and throw in the odd reaction shot or pull out to the wide shot for a bit just to keep it interesting. 3. Don't stay on reaction shots for too long. A couple of seconds is usually enough. Then the audience want to see who's doing the talking, yeah? Stick to these rules and you'll be fine. It's not as complicated as it sounds. You've seen programs on television, haven't you? Make it look like those. Might as well get screen 1 selected now. No need to wait for the broadcast to start. Try and stay ahead, mate.
Crazy Niels got crazy deals.
We're coming back from the break. Quiet in the studio.
Thank you so much.
10 seconds, everybody.
We got it, you want it. You want it, we got it, you want it. You
Going
want
in
it.
5,
We got it,
4,
you want it.
3.
Pay us.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. Later, we'll be hearing from shock election winners Advance. But first
Get
off,
ready to go to
political
Megan on
reporter
screen
Megan
4.
Wolf is here with a star of both stage and screen. Megan?
Thank you, Jeremy. Megan Wolf, culture correspondent. And today I have a guest who starred in everything from Shakespeare
Right,
to
go
the
to
Shopbot
Blunderclatch
films.
on screen 3 when she says his
Joined
name.
today by none other than Lawrence Blunderclatch. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, my dear. I do hope you believe me when I tell you that being with you here today is among
Switch to 2 for the wide now.
May I say, having you here with us is among ours.
Right, now just try and stay on whoever's talking.
Your latest movie, which is called The Medicated.
The medicated, yes.
Wow, what was that like?
Well, as I said to Peter at the Rat, that's Peter Jensen, the director.
Give us a look at Megan's
He's a
reaction.
wonderful
Lovely.
guy.
Now back to Thunder Twat.
Worked with him on several movies, all terribly successful. I said to Peter, what a wild ride this has been. And you know what, Megan? I really meant that.
Wow, that is fantastic. And am I right in saying that the character you play in this movie is quite an academic one?
Absolutely right. A scientist.
Was that a challenge at all?
What exactly are you implying? But seriously, yes, you're right. It was a complete departure from my last starring role when I played Sergeant Brock Rockman in Bullet Man. You'll remember that was the true story. Been
on that show a bit long.
That surpasses all others. A love, of course, for freedom. I think it's grossed over $1 billion, but honestly, who's counting?
It's a role that saw you scoop 2 Best Actor awards, if I remember correctly.
It's so sweet of you to mention it, but I really am not in it for the awards, although those 3 little statues do take pride of place on my mantelpiece.
With all the others, I'm sure. So, if you're not doing it for the awards, what is it then that drives you?
That is a beautiful question, Megan, and not easy to answer. Like you, I'm afraid. Cut me, and I will bleed. And often, that's how it feels, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Bleeding,
Get back to who's talking.
giving, suffering for one's audience. I suppose in the end, I do it for the difference it makes. I do it for the people that I inspire. The little people.
Remember the
Most of all, I think I
10-second
do it for the
rule.
positive change that I can bring about in the world.
And today, of course, we're in for some real change, it looks like, in the coming few months. What do you make of this
Audience is getting
historic
bored, mate.
result?
Oh, well. Well, now you're asking. Historic election result. Indeed. Historic is the word. Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Very difficult. But, I think I've always been quite clear that when it comes to politics, one should always strive to not fuck things up.
Shit, he swore. Oh, well, don't worry, he won't do it again.
Sorry, I said fuck.
Shit, he did it again. Okay, don't panic. I'll explain how to deal with swearing at the
From The
break.
Medicated, which opens next week.
Right, they've swapped the shot of Jeremy on screen 1 for a VT of the movie clip. You'll get a countdown on the screen, but I'll just let Megan cue you in.
My character, Dr. Lance Hemlock, is faced with a decision that could affect humanity's very survival.
Exciting stuff. Exciting stuff.
God, looks like Blunderclatch is really losing it in the studio. I'd love to hear what he's saying, but we can't find out now. We'll go to the Rushes room together once the broadcast's over.
I don't understand it.
It's not your fault.
You think I don't know that?
No, Lance, we mustn't.
Dr. Lance to you, Miss Flanagan.
Did it for you, baby. All for you.
Dr. Hemlock.
We're gonna change the world, you remember? I listened to you.
Dr. Hemlock.
You told me, but I didn't listen.
Doctor,
I'm drowning, Lance, you said.
you need to see this.
No, it's all too late.
Look at this!
The virus. The sterility. This formula, this is the key.
We could stop it all.
Yes, we could stop it all. We have to ask ourselves.
At the end of the clip, you'll want to play another ad. Remember to use the clock at the top to count you in. Right, I guess I better explain how to deal with bleeping out swear words. As you've probably noticed, the broadcast screen, here, is about 2 seconds behind the master screen, here. When someone says a naughty word, the bleep button lights up, like this. 2 seconds later, you'll hear that swear word going out on the broadcast, and you need to hold down the bleep button, or the spacebar on your keyboard, for as long as the swear word lasts. It can take a bit of practice getting used to hearing 2 things at once. Just stay calm, and you'll get it. And if you can't tell when to bleep, just above the button, you'll literally be able to see the sound scrolling by. All you gotta do is hold it down while the red bit is over the red line. Simple. Of course, if you do it by eye, you'll have to take your eye off the screens. That's why real professionals do it by ear. Most people like to have the volume of the broadcast screen a little bit below the master screen. Let's set it now.
And after a long day exploring...
Mate, if you don't turn up the broadcast volume, you won't be able to time your bleeps.
Or you could take advantage of our famous
You're set
nightlife.
to start sensor.
There's a radio in the
Like
camp,
I
or
say,
on Fridays
it takes
we
a
gather
little
to watch
practice,
camp
but
fight.
I'll try and
Come
help you
on,
through it, and
Harold,
soon we'll have you
you're
bleeping
the
like
head.
a pro.
Only
Remember,
85 minutes from
button
the
lights
coast,
up,
and with more
count
than 2
1,
areas of outstanding natural
2,
interest.
and hold it
This
down.
time your family
Remember
went
to select
from the
screen
way
1 now that you've got the feed.
dry season.
Don't wait for the broadcast to go live. That's too late. You can use the number buttons on your
And a
keyboard,
lawyer and a
1 to
TV
4.
personality running the country. Seriously?
We've had worse. 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back. And I'm told we can now go live to Advance Headquarters. And I'm told we can now go live to Advance Headquarters. Peter Clement and Julia Salisbury are about to make their acceptance address.
Cut to the outside broadcast. Oh, shit.
for it, Pet.
Shall I start?
Get ready
Go
to
for
bleed.
it, Pet.
Thank you all for
Okay,
coming.
well,
And, thank you all
where
for
do
coming.
I start?
And, well,
What
where
a
do I
day.
start?
They said we
What a
couldn't do
day.
it.
They
They
certainly
said
did.
we
They
couldn't
used.
do
They
it. Every
certainly did.
dirty,
They
low-down,
used.
lying,
Every
southern
dirty,
bastard
low-down,
trick they
lying,
had against
southern-
us. But you, they had against
People,
us.
but
You saw right through their shit.
I'm sorry about the language there. I'm sorry about the
I've had a
language
couple
there.
of celebrations. Sorry about that. I've had a couple of celebrations. Coarser than the ground is funny. Coarser than the ground
Memorably
is...
put. Memorably put.
But to be honest, who can blame Peter for
But to be honest,
celebrating? Who can blame Peter
Throughout
for
the campaign,
celebrating?
you've heard us say that
Throughout the
advance
campaign,
are not
you've
a
heard us
political
say that
party.
advance are not
A
a
party's
political
what you have
party.
when things are going well.
A party's what you have when
When the
things are
country
going
is
well.
suffering, you don't need a party.
When the country is suffering,
You
don't
need
need
a
a party.
team.
A team
You need a
that can
team.
change things.
A team that can change
But today
things.
is day one of a new
But today
future.
is day one
a
of
better,
a new future.
fairer future.
A better,
So
fairer
perhaps we should all be
future.
celebrating.
Except
so
for
perhaps
the
we should all be
rich.
celebrating.
For them the party's
for the
over.
rich.
They shouldn't
For
be
them the
celebrating.
party's over. They
They
shouldn't
should be
be
putting their
celebrating.
shitting
They
pants
should
on
be
and opening
putting
their
their-
dusty checkbook. Pants on and opening their dusty
colourfully
checkbook.
put, again, colourfully put, but not
Before we
came out here to address the nation,
Before we
used
came
our
out here to
executive
address the
powers
nation, we used
to
our
pass the
executive
Assets and
powers
Wealth Act. To pass the
Working
Assets
with
and
the
Wealth
Tax
Office,
Office,
we have produced
working with
a
the
Tax
Tax
Office,
Office,
we
every
have
person in
produced
the country
definitive
with
list
wealth
of
into the
every
millions.
person in the country
You
with
know
wealth into
the
the
sort.
millions.
Probably you rather you don't.
Probably
Because the likes
you
of
rather
you
don't.
and me
Because
are
the
not
likes of
welcome in
you
their
and
gated
me
community.
are not welcome in their
Tomorrow
gated
we will be
community.
introducing a sweeping
Tomorrow
reform
we will
of the
be
tax
introducing
system
a
in this
sweeping
country.
reform of the tax
No more
system in
hiding
this
wealth
country.
offshore,
No more hiding
trust
wealth
funds or
offshore,
creative
no more
accounting.
trust funds
A
or
simpler,
creative accounting.
fairer,
A
unavoidable
simpler,
set of
fairer,
Mix it
tax
up a bit,
laws.
eh?
So
Unavoidable
all
set
you
of
bastard
tax
public
laws.
school
all you
snobs have got nowhere to hide. Have got nowhere to
today,
hide. We revoked your
today,
passport. We revoked
You
your
want 'em
passport.
back?
You want to leave
back?
like you threatened
You
before
wanna
the
leave
election.
like you
That's
threatened
fine.
before the election.
But
first,
That's fine.
you're gonna pay
First,
up.
you're
You're
going to
gonna
pay
pay
back.
Advance are going to turn this country from a
Advance
nation
are
of
going to
warring
turn this country
individuals
from a nation
into
of
a
warring
team.
individuals
To properly
into a
fund
team.
health and education.
To properly fund
to raise
health
the
and
living
education.
standards of us
To
all.
raise the
The
living standards
pundits
of us
said we'd
all.
have to
Get on the
raise
speaker, mate.
billions.
have to
But
raise
you'll see when we've
billions.
reclaimed
But
what's
you'll see
ours,
when we've
that's
reclaimed
absolute
what's ours,
ferret
that's
shite.
absolute
So to you posh twats,
The
to
people
you
who pay you a
posh
pittance to serve them
People
drinks
who
in their
pay you
private
a
clubs.
to serve them
The people
drinks in
whose
their
children
private
you
clubs.
raised.
The people
So
whose
they've got
children
time
you
to get even
raised.
fucking richer.
Advance have this to say to you.
Advance
It
have
ends
this
to say
today.
to you. We are
ends
coming for your
today.
sports cars
We
and your
are coming
mansions
for your
and your
sports
vineyards.
cars and
It
your
ends
mansions and
today.
your vineyards.
It
We
ends
will put the wealth
today.
of this country back
We
where
will
it should
put
have
the wealth
always
of this
been.
country back
In
where
the
it
hands
should
of
have
the
Honest,
people
mate.
who created it. In the hands of the people
ends
who created it.
today.
It ends.
Yes, it ends today.
It ends
And tomorrow
today.
we'll start making
And
it fair
tomorrow
again.
we'll start making
Just
it
like
fair
we
again.
promised we would.
Just
And
like
until
we
then,
promised
ladies
we
and
would.
gents, and
They're
until
not
then,
one to
I
argue.
suggest we all get pissed.
I can't
suggest
argue
we
with
all
that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time.
Well, then, interesting acceptance speech there from the leader. Interesting acceptance speech and our apologies for the fruity language. And our apologies for the fruity language. Out for you in time. Hopefully we got that. If not, out for you in time. Someone's going to be in trouble. If not, someone's going to be in trouble. So, as the country braces itself for new government, that's all from us this evening at the National Nightly News. That's all from us this evening. We'll be back tomorrow with full coverage of the first day under advance. With full coverage of the first day. I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Have a peaceful. I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Have a.
Right, looks like you've got it now. Thanks for all the help, mate. I've got to go. Ferry's about to leave. Probably won't be coming back. Job's yours, mate. Good luck.
With
boring
this
politics, then.
limited edition
This is some
collection.
weird fever dream,
My
and
Salad
I'm
Week.
dying now.
Sign up now,
be so
and
lucky.
every week we'll send you
I'll
an
see you tomorrow night.
authentic
Not going for a drink?
ingredient
No, got
to
a
add to
date.
your salad.
Try not to get
Build your
murdered.
collection week by week, and very soon you'll have a salad that really gets the lunchroom talk.
All right, mate. Welcome to the archive. This is where you can have a quick look back at what you've done and how it looked to the public. There's 3 sections: broadcast, rushes and adverts. Let's start with broadcast. Click on it now. Over on the left, that's all the broadcasts that you've done. Click on any one of them and hit load tape. Once it's finished loading, you can use the
In a few
rewind and
moments,
fast
we'll be
forward
going
at the
live
bottom
to
there
tonight's
to help you get to
National
the bit you
Nightly
want to
News.
see.
But before that, let's take a look at what's coming up later on tonight.
Right, click on rushes and let's have a look at those. Right, this is the rushes room. It's pretty simple. The 4 screens you can see, they're going to show you the 4 signals you got from the studio during the actual broadcast. Difference is you can mute any combination of them so you can have a listen to the stuff you weren't allowed to show. Select the broadcast and give it a go, and when you're done listening to the backstage secrets, hit back.
Pa,
Prawn and mayonnaise?
You know seafood makes me come out.